So Dada, I wanted to ask you that how did you get into consulting business?
So I graduated in 2012. I did mechanical engineering from Pune University.
Okay.
And after that, I was working with an auto company for a couple of years, and I always wanted to do something on my own. So I was not meant for a 9 to 5 job. So whatever I did implement, I thought I could. Whatever I've learned in that company, I thought I could implement that somewhere else also. So that is how I actually went into consulting. So we have one family friend, and he was actually having some issues at his factory.
Okay.
So he asked me for some help, and that is when I left my job and started helping him. And slowly, with like starting from one customer, we started making more and more success stories.
क्या बात है. So this is how holistic consulting started.
Yes. So the initially, like from day one, the idea was not to work for somebody. I always wanted to work for myself, and I had seen, like, my father, though he was in a executive position for many years, he did work for somebody eventually, and so I always feel that whenever I am going to work, I will be working for myself, and I will be creating my own empire eventually.
Wow, for sure. I wanted to ask you that this sector of consulting is not known for many people. I mean, many people still don't know that consulting can be a legitimate industry or a business. So how did you choose consulting? Because this is we can say niche industry, and many people still don't know about it. Still, as we talk, still don't know about it.
So initially, say, as I told you, I never wanted to be in a 9 to 5 job, and I always from day one I like to explore different organizations, different industries. I used to study a lot about different case studies of the organizations. So from my early career days, I was always fascinated by different challenges every day. So probably that is why I went into consulting, because here many people used to tell me earlier that consulting is for experienced people. It is not for younger generation. But I think there are many areas with the technology coming in. There are many areas which are now open for freshers also, like with data analytics and new areas coming in. So it is not like that you need to have so much of experience. I think with the technology coming in, one can contribute to the consulting sector from the start of the career. And with I think some manufacturing experience and the analytical background which I have, I think it was sort of a suited field for me, and that is how I eventually went into consulting.
क्या बात है. So you loved analytics since college days.
So I like going through the data of different companies, like how they are progressing, what is their cost structure, what is their
revenue model,
or generally the sales cycle, the cash conversion cycle. So different things I have learned from my college days, and I think that is giving me a lot of help excelling in this consulting field. And
definitely it works. And I wanted to ask you that when it comes to consulting business, there is no big name that McKinsey. So everybody really, directly or indirectly compares you with, or any consulting business with McKinsey, because they are giants. And they give you leaders like Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai, all are ex-McKinsey. So how is holistic consulting a different organization or different than McKinsey? How does it stand out?
See, probably if you look at McKinsey, Bain and Company, or Boston Consulting. I think these three are the probably the top-notch companies in consulting industry. So, but who are they catering to? They are catering to all Fortune 500 companies.
Definitely.
Like there are so many companies actually which need such consulting services, but they cannot go to McKinsey or they cannot go to Boston Consulting Group because they don't have so much money to pay to them. So I think there is so much of vacuum probably in that area right
sector,
now,
yeah.
and I think if we can build, I would not compare myself with McKinsey because I think it will take a lot of probably next few generation to be like McKinsey.
We never know.
Yeah, but I think now with the technology and social media, I think the SMEs or the medium scale companies also, they understand how they need to actually change their business model over a period of time, or how they need to adapt to the changes. So I think they are open for such consulting consultants or ideas from us. And I think market is more open for all of us now, and not only Fortune 500 company, but also all the SMEs are open to such consulting help.
Correct.
Yeah.
तो वो gap पूरा निकल जाता है. You will cater to these small organizations.
Yes, there are challenges, of course, like in small companies or medium-sized companies, generally most of the things are owner-driven.
Correct.
So we need to put some IT infrastructure initially. We need to do lot of data cleaning. We need to set up like most obvious processes. So there are challenges as well. But I think there are opportunities as well. So I don't see to be very honest. I look at the opportunities first, and then after I look at the challenges. So
correct.
I see opportunities everywhere.
So the glass is always full.
Yes.
Rather than empty.
Yes.
I get it. So I mean, now that you know your dad, you spoke about your dad that he was a CEO and he retired as a chairman of Fleet Guard. So you had a culture of running a company, expanding it, about the sales or whatever. So you somewhere in your childhood had it in your mind that I want to start a company of my own and then run through all these challenges, because you saw your father doing it for the same for the Fleet Guard.
So to be very honest, I was very fortunate to get that bird's eye view from, I would say, from my college days, because lot of people, though they are like experienced, highly experienced, they don't understand the importance of the bird's eye view, because as an organization you need to have the systematic thinking in place, or you need to look at the organization very systematically, and based on that you need to take some decisions. So many of the people, they just look at their own departments or their own departmental goals, but they never look at the organizational level goals. So I used to get all the bird's eye view from day one, and what are the challenges, how to deal with people, how to deal with their ego, or what are the problems with the union, problems with the suppliers. So all I used to understand, or all information I used to get it since my college days, and that really helped me to understand the system very well. And definitely he used to guide me he's still guiding me. And I think to be very honest, my mom has also played a big role, because she started a business like 20 years back. And she started her own manufacturing unit without any help.
Wow.
And she could actually eventually excel it, and till like for last 20 years she has been running that unit without any debt or without any particular issue. So I think though the business volume is small, but she could manage it without anybody's help. So I think that also sets up a good example in our house, that you can do well without taking help from the bank or without taking a lot of debt.
Correct.
And if you have honesty and if you make good products, you can also survive in the market.
And I must say this is a very important step, because, and this is not usually the case right now in the market, because we are used to getting debts, take funds from it. So self-sustaining the whole project on your own is a big thing. So I do understand what you are trying to say.
Yes, absolutely.
And Dada, I also wanted to ask you that you believe in this theory of constraints. So we wanted to know about it. What is this theory?
So actually, theory of constraints is invented by Dr. Eli Goldratt. Dr. Eli Goldratt was the founder, and I think if you know the book called The Goal, it's a very famous novel, and he's the writer of that famous novel Goal. And he actually developed this theory based on the if you know Henry Ford or
yes.
Ono.
Yes,
Ono.
Heard about Henry Ford.
So I think he developed the theory based on their inputs, and the major, I think, difference between theory of constraints and any other theory is theory of constraints helps us to look at the entire system and make sure that you have to actually find the significant points within the system, and if you identify these constraints, you can actually improve the performance of the organization substantially. So many of times in any organizations, the challenge is at the top of the bottle, I would say. Like the top
Correct.
management will always have limited time, limited bandwidth, and in that limited time you have to identify certain actions which are crucial to make significant changes in the performance of the system. So whenever the bottlenecks or the constraints are physical, you can actually go and identify it, but once they are either policies or paradigms, it's a huge challenge, because policies are something which cannot be easily changed.
Correct.
Right? You look at our country, like in country like India, it is so difficult to change one single policy.
Yes.
Because people will oppose, people will resist to changes, right? So theory of constraints, we say it as TOC. TOC talks about systemic change, systemic perspective. It will always align the organization as per the systemic goals, and whatever the measurements we define in the TOC, I think those are related to systemic measurements only. So I think in a way it's a beautiful theory, and it will help us align the entire system to the systemic objective. And alignment, as you know, that it's a most difficult thing.
Yes.
If you want people to align to a single objective, it's
a crazy task.
Right. So TOC has tools, it has measurement system, and it gives the company a jump in the performance if you align it as per the TOC.
Got that.
Theory.
Got that. Dada, who has been your biggest motivation? I mean, who do you have always looked up to personally as well as professionally, I would like to ask?
I think both my parents, they have been exceptionally well in their career, not only in career, I would say, but as a human being, because it is very important for us to understand that we need to also be a good citizen of the nation. We have
Correct.
to pay our taxes on time, or we have to pay the whatever government asks us to. So it is very important that, or for example, say wait at the signal, like follow the signal. So it is
integrity. Basically, you need integrity.
right. So I think both my parents are they have done a brilliant job in being a good citizen, and like in professional life also, with integrity and with a lot of honesty, they have worked really hard for almost 40 years, and I look up to them as my heroes, or as my now I would say
Peers.
yeah. So they both are my heroes.
Exactly, and you're so lucky that personally as well as professionally you could look up to the same people,
Right.
which is a rare case scenario in every aspect, you can
Right.
say, in today's world at least.
Right.
I don't know about the last time.
Right.
And Dada, you formed this company 4 years ago, and now you have successful clients like Chitale, Hitachi, Victor, Reinz, and many more. So how much do you think PR plays a role in getting your first client, or getting that amount of clarity to explain your client that this is a business I'm starting and you can actually believe in me? Because that is a big task in consulting business to, again, as you said, that you are a younger generation. So again, that trust, because they are big brands already. So that trust to come on you, what needs to be done?
So I think it is about the opportunity. Like once you get the opportunity, you should really work hard to make it a success. And I think a lot of credit goes to all our customers also, because they believed in me, and they have given me a chance, and at such early stage of the career, and I hope I have never disappointed them. So it is about once you get the opportunity, you have to make it a success. And once you probably create a list of case studies or success stories, I think then word of mouth is your biggest PR, I would say.
Correct.
Because definitely the customers will give you many references once you make a project successful, and that is how we are doing right now.
क्या बात है. And do you think this is like approachable, or these clients, if a young boy sitting somewhere is planning to get into this, because he has also had his hand on case studies or big analytics or data, or he has had some great stats which he wants to present to solve some problem. So do you think if he makes his case very strong as per the client requirement, he can also land these clients without any PR? I mean, any personal contacts in the organization?
Of course, yes, but you have to also find out which problems you are trying to solve, because I think a lot of people, they try to solve probably a very, say, non-important problem, I would say, for the organization's point of view. So it is very important that to understand what problem you are trying to solve for the organization, and also whether the top management or the executive, whether he wants to solve that problem, he or she wants to solve that problem or not. That has to be also understood. So I think identifying a problem is very critical, and once you identify that, you should actually be in a position to convince the management that you can solve it. And for like during the solving process, you should have a transparent mechanism to show what exactly you are doing and what is the progress, right? So everything is a part of a success story, and you should always have all these things in place. Maybe at the start of your career, you may not have all this. You may not have a team, you may not have IT tools, but I think if you know what problem you are solving, I think then generally you are 50%
there
to the solution. Yeah.
क्या बात है. Dada, what is your plan with Holistic for the next 10 years? What is your vision for the next 10 years with Holistic Consulting?
So with Holistic Consulting, I think what we have realized is there are so many medium scale companies with say first or second generation entrepreneurs, and I think they have a good opportunity to expand their business or be successful or grow their business. So we are going to target these companies for sure. Also we are building some IT tools. We have developed we are developing an IT team now, and we are going to cater to the small companies also with our IT tools. So with Holistic, I think eventually we want to see it as one of the leading consulting and analytics company going into the future. And I think there is so much of opportunity in India only that generally thousands of companies really want, like really in need of services which can help them to improve. So right now I can see we can grow probably 100x in next 10 years. So
wow,
that is my vision.
Definitely. Dada, when you started this 4 years ago, what amount of clarity did you had before starting this? And generally, how much amount of clarity you should bet on before starting any new venture?
So I think to be very honest, I had very less clarity when I started this. The only I think clarity I have is I wanted to do something on my own. That's it. So eventually, I think after 4 years, I would say I have 10% of clarity, because
oh my god,
because eventually things also change over a period of time. Surroundings change, the customer expectations change. So I think we are definitely going in the right direction in terms of technology, in terms of getting good people on board. But I would say a lot of clarity generally comes from the customer only, like what are the customer expectations, where the market is going. If you look at the customer's customer, like how the trend is changing. So all these things generally do consider when we are planning for the future. So I think that will customer and his customer definitely will help us to plan for the future.
So can we bet on the least quality, kind of clarity we have, just a vision or a gut feeling,
So as I said, direction is definitely right. Clarity definitely will come with time. So I would say definitely we have the clarity that we are going in the right direction. So I think we have to put efforts, we have to get right people on board. I think all other things will fall in place.
So to start with, we can go in that direction.
Right. So for I think for new entrepreneurs, my suggestion would be, see what is, like, where are the gaps in the market, where are the requirements, can you make it a scalable, like whatever ideas you have, can you scale it up, and can you make it a sustainable business? So I think all these things they need to consider. And
correct. Very important.
Do they have energy to put so much of efforts, because the efforts initially required are too high. So they have to also understand what it needs to be done.
Yeah, I totally relate, because nowadays it's most like a fling. So you have that energy for 1 month, then you quit being an entrepreneur and quit your vision, quit your mission, and go back to normal where you were. So that should not happen. So you should ask these questions. Are, I think, the most important questions for any entrepreneur to ask himself or herself before starting any new venture. Nada, we have got to know from your friend circle that it's your habit or you love to do that, but whenever you travel somewhere to another country or some other city in India, if you find something which is, as a system they're doing it very nicely, or there's something good happening there, you try to get it back and try to implicate in your life some or the other way. So tell us about that.
So I don't know what what somebody has told you, but generally, definitely, whenever I go outside India, I look at the things, how they are doing differently, how the technology is changing, and definitely whatever I like, I try to get here in India and try to implement it myself also.
It is not only a leisure trip, you carry your passion with it to learn something new, and with your leisure you get something back which is really close to you, or you feel that okay, this might change something, or the way of doing it changes when you come back. Apart from the good things, there are some personal journey criticisms which we get during our journey, maybe from our peers, maybe some of our surroundings, maybe some from friends. So what's your take? How should one deal with these criticisms? Because this is a very personal journey.
See, criticism is part and parcel of life. Like somebody is going to criticize you every day. I think the what you are going to take out of that criticism is the most important thing, and probably it should motivate you eventually to work harder or to make things better. And I always take criticism as I always like constructive criticism, to be very honest. And definitely whenever somebody criticizes me, I try to make things better, or I try to see where are the gaps, why I'm not able to do certain things, or why something is going wrong. So it has to be taken in the right spirit is what I see.
Again, the positive approach should play its part.
Absolutely.
Because you can't get negative because of just one man saying some rubbish things.
Because in every field or in every sector or in every aspect of life, somebody is going to be better than you. So you have to accept that, and it is about your own journey. Where do you want to reach? So you should take the criticism positively and work towards making things better.
Very true. I also wanted to ask you about what are your thoughts on the current education system in India? What do you think about it?
So I think it is more it is not sort of an experiential experience based learning. I think it is more from like you have certain books or you have to just mug up and write the exams, right? So I think whatever that has been done in the western part of the world, I think we should try to copy few things here in terms of education, and some of the schools are already doing that. They are changing their methods, changing their entire structure. There are in some schools, I think there are no exams, or there is no homework also. So
correct.
Definitely we need more experiential based learning, because whenever we take new freshers also, it is difficult for us to actually use them or take their help
their
immediately.
expertise. Yeah.
Because we need to actually we need them to go through a learning, probably a module.
A lot of time is spent on training.
Right. Lot of
Mysore
money,
campus
time, I think.
Of Infosys is a great example.
Right. So definitely we need more internship based or experience based learning in schools as well as in colleges going forward.
Only that will help. Otherwise, it is already a pain for all the business owners to get these people, new talent onboarded. Right. Because you have to bombard them with training since day one, and again it's a college time for them. Rather than you taking out the needed expertise. Right now, nowadays, the entire youth generation with their parents are focused on the placement circle. They are more focused on how will I get placed, or rather the parents are also, without even first inquiring about the curriculum or the course which they are going to take on, they are more keen on asking about placements ka kya hai, mera bachcha place hoga ki nahi, tell us about the placements, which companies come. So do you think this is some or the other way getting them into the rat race and somewhere ruining the future of the nation as a whole?
See, I think from the parents' perspective, they also spend a lot of money in educating their kids. And if you look at the college tuition fees nowadays, I think at our time it was around 40,000-50,000 per year for the engineering, but now it has crossed already 1 lakh, and it is somewhere between 1.5 lakhs. So they also spend a lot of money, and I think some parents, they take loans also from the banks. So for them it is important to understand that what is the ROI. But do they give too much importance for the ROI? I think so. And also they don't know the real likings of the kids. So what generally is the liking, or does he really want to become an engineer or a doctor, right? So it is very important that we should know what is our passion, and we should actually try to select a career whichever fits our liking or our passion. So then probably you may not need to think twice whether I will be successful or not, because once you are already doing something which you like, I think you are bound to succeed in that particular field.
Definitely, I totally agree, because this return on investment thing is anyways a bouncer concept for the parents, or rather they tend to go emotional rather than practical about the college.
But what you say, rat race is still there in India. I think right from getting an admission in the nursery to probably we retire. I think there is still a rat race, and it is also because of the number of opportunities we get. I think we get very less opportunities, and there is a rat race.
Definitely. Lastly, I would like to ask you that what do you mean by success, or how would you personally define success?
So I think everybody will have his or her definition of success. So for me, I think I should get more time to actually spend with my family, and of course making money is not wrong, I would say, but you should be in a position to actually help others. There are so many people around us which need help, and we should be always in that position to help them. And of course one is spending time with the family, like getting that free time in your day to day. The other would be, I think, good health and happiness, probably till I die. So I think that would be a great definition of success. And also, of course, making money is important, and I would be happy if I make more money every year and spend it on the things which I like.
Make a change.
Yeah, make a change, and which I like also.
Definitely. Thank you, Dada. I mean, it was great talking to you, and this was a tremendously motivating journey, because you started it from zero, and especially when already the industry is niche. In other cases, the audience or the target market is niche, but here the industry itself was a very niche industry. Still, you started it, and you are giving successful stories. You are giving 10x plus returns to every client and improving their business as well as yours. So kudos to you, and we do believe that in another 10 years your vision comes true and you grow 100x. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.